Okay, this is important to me. This is something very important. Important news here. I was gonna make this video sooner. I really don't want Flash to go away. This is my future career. I wanted to be a dress-up game artist and design for dress-up games, but without Flash, I can't do that in the future. I hope if they get rid of Flash right now, it'll come back eventually. I don't want the future of online games to be just this crappy stuff that, I'm sorry if I have to use the word crappy, but it is crappy. These new games are just the same all the time, and they're just a really terrible quality. The Flash ones sometimes were in bad quality too, but not all of them were. And there was a little bit of a higher quality there to the Flash ones, some of them, than there were to like the... I don't know. I'll just have to show you. But it's hard to describe. And I'm really angry about this with Adobe and Microsoft. Whoever's idea it was to get rid of Flash, where's your head? I wanted to not just do dress-up games, even though that I've always been into fashion and stuff, and that's like my thing for a long time, but also other games too, like there's cooking ones and stuff. There's some adventure ones too. I wanted to make games like that, as well as make dress-up games. I'll post a video of me playing some of the higher quality dress-up games, but I used a online screen recorder to do it, so it's really not the best way to show, but I mean, like, after watching Joyning's Christmas Girls Go Games video, and I'm not, Girls Go Games is like a newer website. I play a lot of the older websites like DD Games and Games 2 Girls and what's the other one? Y8. I also found one recently called 80r.com, and it has a lot of the Roy World, which is a really old dress-up website. Doesn't even exist anymore. There's the actual dress-up games website that's just called dressupgames.com, and it's been around for a while too. But it has a lot of newer games as well as older ones. I used to play one a lot called Rin Maru Games. And they weren't, like, the lines and stuff in those weren't as, like, clean cut drawn, like, some, like, I mean, they were kind of pixely sometimes, a little bit. But that's probably just the way they, maybe the program the people use to draw them with and stuff. Versus, I'll use this one as an example, called Mori Girl by Games2Girls.com, and it's a little bit more of those higher quality dress-up games. You could change the skin tone, do all that, you can and Phoenix Vacuum's girl games. She played a lot of different ones, but they were older. Her girl games thread thing was a while ago. It was probably 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know. I'll have to check. But she played some older games, but she played some of the weirder ones. Not all of them she played were weird, though. But she mostly played the weirder ones, and she went on the weirder websites and stuff. And some of the ones she played, like, she mentioned a lot in her games that you couldn't find, like, a wide variety of skin tones and stuff. And I think you should have diversity in the dress-up games. I don't know where they're made, though. But the higher quality ones I played, usually you can have that also. It just, the makeup, you can do the makeup as well, which is nice. And there, like, it has some, of course, just like all the dress-up games, it has the little bold kind of makeup looks and stuff. Like with the orange blush and the purple blush, which in some countries is actually popular, but they wear it real lightly. Enough talking about dress-up games. I saw Jordan's Christmas girl games video tonight, and he's really funny. He's hilarious. But he played some Baby Hazel ones. He always plays a Baby Hazel one when he does it. But Baby Hazel games are just... A lot of people don't want to play Baby Hazel games. They're not that fun for some people. Some people just prefer the simple dress-up games. Some people prefer the cooking ones. Some people don't even like Flash games, or, well, even if they play Flash games, some people don't like the girly ones at all. The Flash games just aren't just for girls, they're for everybody. And there's, like, almost every game on the internet is Flash. There's the ones I found, I don't know how I found them, but old ones that used to be, like, from the old, like, Scaredy Squirrel TV show website and stuff, and they got some of those old games on not the Scaredy Squirrel website, but there's, this other website, I forget what it's called, but they have old Flash games on there. And I found some Scaredy Squirrel ones. There's one where you throw the skunk around, you slingshot him and he goes flying and stuff. It's ridiculous, but it's fun to play. And almost every game on the internet was from Flash. But join in his girl games Christmas video, there were a lot of games he was clicking, but he couldn't play because Firefox didn't require Flash. And I played a lot of, like, other games. Like, I don't know how they're still making these Korean dress-up games. I think, yeah, GameAngel.com. I don't know how they're still making them.